Oh man. To this day, me and one of my best friends is Sam Thompson, one of my roommates from Ohio State, and
Ah,
we would just say that we believe the NCAA tournament is the best the best basketball atmosphere. Obviously, we've never played in the NBA playoffs championship like that, but I mean the NCAA tournament it just feels different because
mhm.
you understand that people who might not even watch college basketball will tune in for the NCAA tournament. Everybody's making their bracket. Everybody's watching these
Yep.
games on these Thursdays
Mhm.
or Sundays. It doesn't matter who you are, like what your job is, what you do in your life. You're gonna pay attention to March Madness. So I mean,
Definitely.
we obviously loved it. I mean, the type of attention you get during March Madness, going around campus, just everybody telling you like we're rooting for you, obviously, but like don't mess up our brackets. Like it's just like it's a weird feeling, but it's just a great feeling to have, though.
What's up, y'all? Back with another episode with the amateurs. Today we have the Scott brothers, man. Both doing their thing on and off the court. Shaun working with, Under Armour, doing this thing with the grassroots basketball, and Shannon playing professionally in the NBA and overseas, man. Thanks for joining us.
I appreciate y'all having us.
Yeah, I appreciate y'all. Let us come on here for real.
Yep. So how's everything been going with y'all, man?
I mean, you got it, Shaun.
It's been a quiet summer, but things have been going well. I mean, that's one thing with grassroots basketball, even without being able to have a presence due to COVID-19. Our company is still all in on grassroots. They see that it's a key way to market and get our message out to the masses. So staying busy, but staying at home, which has been a gift and a curse, but enjoying it.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's been different for sure. I mean, I got back home in March. Never been home that early ever in my life. Even since playing high school ball, we always playing up until March, April, thinking AAU started. So I mean, it's been different for me. Like y'all know, first couple of months because of COVID, having to find a gym to get into. Everywhere was shut down. Nobody wanted to open up anything. So your first time getting back on the court was about like July, August, and then the ball feels completely different to you. So I mean, it's been an experience for me.
Exactly. Yeah, a lot of people that don't play sports, especially basketball, they don't really know about that. I know for myself, if I take 3 to 4 days off, I come back and my shot is broke. So to take off a few months, I know that was tough.
Yeah, my first shot, it just felt like a new sport again, honestly.
Yeah, man, it's like that sometimes. Yeah. But we have a segment on our show called the 1 minute warm up, and usually we give our guests like a minute to answer 8 to 10 questions. But since we have 2 guests today, we'll split it up. Jaron will kick it off, and then I'll finish up.
Yep. So we got you first. Shaun, I got you first, man.
Got it.
Yep.
All right. So I'll start the clock on your first question, Jaron.
All right. All right. So let's get into it. What's favorite sports team?
UNC Tar Heels.
Favorite food?
Steak.
Favorite rapper of all time?
Lil Wayne.
Okay.
Hidden talent that no one knows about.
Great chef.
Okay.
All right, Shannon, what's your favorite shooter hoop in?
Say it again.
What's your favorite sneaker to hoop in?
I gotta say Under Armour right now. Curry 5.
Gotcha. Favorite arena that you've ever played in?
Kansas.
Best player of all time?
Mike.
And what sport are you least talented in?
Least talented. I'm not gonna lie. I played a lot of sports and I was pretty good at most of them. Least talented, I'll say baseball.
Baseball. All right, just made it.
Mm-hmm.
I know that's y'all only 2 years apart. I know that's probably not y'all first dub y'all got together. But y'all are pretty close in age. So did y'all play a lot of one-on-one growing up, or what was that like?
A lot of one-on-ones. Ever since he could walk, stepped into the ring of fire. I'm a little cricket class goal. And I wish we still had VHS because our parents, or my mom more so, taped the games. My sister did interviews.
Oh man.
Film. Nah, man. From time he was walking on till I graduated high school, it was one-on-ones either inside or outside.
That's dope. That's dope. Me and Jan and I, we've been friends since we were like 7. So we both don't have any siblings close in age. So we were basically doing that for each other.
Yeah.
We know exactly how those battles are.
Yeah.
But
the hardest battles right there for real.
Yeah. But you talked a little bit about family, and we did a little research on you guys, and your dad, he's a legend.
Man.
Hall of Fame, first African American to earn a scholarship at UNC, NBA champ. What impact has he had on the two of you, both on and off the court?
You want to take this one first, Shane, or you want me?
Yeah, I got you. I mean, obviously, people always saw our dad and just knew the accolades he has, the type of career he had, and just assumed that everything was strictly basketball with us. But I mean, you can ask me or anybody that I played with, all my friends that played under him. He kept basketball very basketball related, and off the court, it was just dad. I mean, he didn't try to really make us feel like we had to do a basketball thing at all times or trying to be basketball minded at all times. So, I mean, we had a good balance between basketball and just being a dad and being looking out for us in all aspects of life, really.
Gotcha. This next question is for both of you. So, what is your favorite memory, as an amateur athlete?
I mean, I was a team player, so might have been my senior year of basketball, my senior year of high school. We didn't win the championship. We went to the Final Four. Actually did the exact same thing we did the year before. Won the region championship, lost in the Final Four. But it was a band of brothers. I went to the private school my whole life, so I think we had 7 seniors, and then it was the one year that Shannon was actually on varsity, so it was the only year I played with him, and so that was just probably my favorite year of basketball.
That's dope.
Gotcha.
For me, I mean, like his senior year, my senior year was a lot of fun. Just like Shaun said, I had a bunch of guys with me that we all grew up together. Was able to play on the same AAU team and high school team, so we were around each other honestly 24/7. So like the relationship we built on the court, guys I talk to every day today, I mean, we just really kept it going since then. So I mean, that was probably a big thing for all of us.
Definitely. And like I kind of want to expand on that, Shannon. You were, a state champ, Mr. Georgia basketball, McDonald's All-American, the whole nine. You basically hit every accolade that we dream of accomplishing as high school hoopers. What was it like to know that you were like one of the best players in the country? What was that experience like?
I mean, obviously it's a great feeling. I always tell everybody, man, I just felt like my job was so easy with the guys I had around me. I had a lot of high D1 players with me. So I mean, obviously you look at my stats and stuff from high school, I didn't have the same stats that guys had who were previously had those awards, guys who averaged like 30, 40 points. But I mean, my team's always a team that was winning. We went to multiple state championships, and AAU-wise, we were always one of the top teams. So I mean, it's just great having that recognition, knowing that what I did on the court was the right thing to do. It wasn't always about stats, but the way I played the game was always going to be recognized.
Gotcha.
And I like that you touched on that, because especially today in the social media era, a lot of players think that they have to score 30 points or have to like have all the highlight plays and things like that. But I mean, you're a testament to just making the right play and being a team player and still, accomplishing all those great things.
I think that's a big thing now. Everybody just wants to they want to see all the highlights. They see the guys like the little kid from Cali, Mikey, or what's his name, Mickey or Mikey, I don't know what his name is, but getting like 70 points a game. Like, I mean, that's not going to be realistic always, and that's not the way that most people want to play with a player like that. So, I mean, I took a lot of pride in just being a guy that people enjoy playing with.
Yeah, sure. And when you guys are talking about the social media era, I was going to say, Shannon, what was I know you had probably a tough a lot of workouts. Your work ethic was probably crazy. So can you tell everybody, some of the workouts you were doing, or what was that like, training to be a McDonald's All-American?
So honestly, back when I was in high school, about 2009, 2010, 2011, we didn't have all these crazy social media trainer guys. I mean, the fact that I see kids now that have trainers like at 6, 7 years old, we never had any of that. We had our regular practice, we had AAU practice, and we left it at that. When you wanted to learn something, you went outside and just figured out how to do it. You didn't go pay a trainer hundreds of thousands of dollars they pay now to work on something and your extra time. You went outside and you figured it out. So, I mean, we did a lot of that on our own. I mean, Shaun will agree with that. We went outside. You want to learn how to make a move. You saw something on TV. You went outside and repeated it. I mean, it wasn't a big training thing that we had growing up.
Definitely.
I know too, you know, you're far removed from college now. College days are over with. But what advice do you have for student athletes, you know, in terms of what they should be looking for during the recruiting process in the program?
My biggest thing is that they need to go somewhere that they feel like they can fit in and be themselves right away. I mean, I don't think you need to go to a school where you're following a school name or you're following a person, thinking you can be that person. You got to go somewhere that's going to fit your style and fit the way you're going to play the game. I think after that, coaches and scouts, everybody's going to find you. You don't have to go seek out for something. You don't have to go to one of the top schools to be a top player now. So I think that's a big part of it.
Yeah, no, I mean, especially after, going to college, I went to UNC. That program is one of a kind. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and hype up UNC. I mean, it's great, but my dad and the Carolina family has always been like instilled in our veins, and so it's something I've just grown to love and grown to see. Like, I can be at an AAU event and I can run into a player that played in the 80s, and another UNC player could be like, "Oh, this is Charlie's son," and you will dap up like we've known each other since I was born, and it's just a close camaraderie. But what I would tell kids being recruited right now, just because I've been in the AAU world for so long, is like Shannon said, like, don't chase the name of the school. Like, what made UNC so great was because Coach Smith made a family atmosphere and he always took care of his own, and that was something that has been instilled throughout generations and decades. So the college coach, he'll build a relationship with the player and he'll do right by the player. So find a good relationship as opposed to searching the name.
Gotcha.
And for the listeners out there, that's been a trend. Every time we ask former athletes, you know, advice on the recruitment process, the relationship matters. Don't chase the big names.
Yeah. I got a question.
I mean, personally, I've talked to high school kids, and they told me that I asked them, what school are you looking at? He would name a couple schools, and he would say, I mean, Kentucky too. I'm like, so is Kentucky recruiting you, or you just want to go to Kentucky because it's Kentucky? And he said, well, if they offer me, I'd go. So I'd explain to him, like, they might offer you to be the 12th guy on the team. So you're not going to be Devin Booker when you get there, just so you know that.
Right.
So you got to realize those things when you get in situations like that.
Yeah. How big was UNC of an influence, you know, for you guys in making y'all a college decision, man? Like, was it always you guys wanted to go to UNC? I know, Shannon, you didn't go to UNC, but was that something, you know, you guys consider, you know, since your dad went there?
Yeah, I mean, well,
you go first. Go ahead.
Yeah, personally, I mean, like you said, I didn't go to Carolina, but just from growing up in the family I grew up in, we knew everything about Carolina. I could probably still tell you everything that goes on in Carolina today. So, I mean, it was always a big influence on me. Even to a point where I knew I was going to go to Carolina, but I still reached out to Coach Williams and helped me figure out where I wanted to go, because I understood that he had a good connection with other college coaches, and I felt like he wasn't going to steer me in the wrong direction with that. So, I mean, like Shaun said, that family atmosphere, just going from there and extending it on to guys who didn't even go to Carolina but have connections to Carolina is just a great thing.
Yeah. No, I mean, like Shannon said, the Carolina family is one of a kind. So, like, Shannon's middle name is Dean, after Dean Smith. Coach Smith named his son Scott Smith, and same with Roy Williams. He has a Scott Williams. And so, I mean,
it's crazy.
Carolina family is just something that's like very been near and dear to our hearts, and pretty much all we knew growing up. And it's funny that Shannon actually had the UNC room. I had a Chicago Bulls room. Shannon had the UNC room. And like he said, Coach Williams helped him out during his recruitment process, and he let him know, like, he was not chasing the name, as finding the coach that he had a good relationship with and the best opportunity for him. And at the time, UNC had, I think, 3 or 4 point guards on scholarship. So time just didn't work out. But the family atmosphere that he wanted the best for Shannon at the end of the day was what made UNC special to us.
Definitely. That's dope.
Right. And so Shannon, let's transition to college now. You decided to go to Ohio State. You had a great college career. What was that like playing in the NCAA tournament, man?
Oh man. To this day, me and one of my best friends is Sam Thompson, one of my roommates from Ohio State. And we would just say that we believe the NCAA tournament is the best the best basketball atmosphere. Obviously, we have never played in the NBA playoffs championship like that, but I mean, the NCAA tournament, it just feels different because you understand that people who might not even watch college basketball will tune in for the NCAA tournament. Everybody's making their bracket. Everybody's watching these games on these Thursdays or Sundays. It doesn't matter who you are, like what your job is, what you do in your life. You're going to pay attention to March Madness. Definitely. So I mean, we obviously loved it. I mean, the type of attention you get during March Madness, going around campus, just everybody telling you like we're rooting for you, obviously, but like don't mess up our brackets. Like it's just like it's a weird feeling, but it's just a great feeling to have, though.
Yeah. And this one for you, Shaun. So going into college, man, did you know that you wanted to work in the sports industry, or was that something that you knew a long time ago, or you know what I'm saying, when you got to college, you made the decision like, yeah, I want to pursue sports?
Yeah. So I mean, by the time I went to UNC, I did not go on scholarship. So I think my basketball career was coming to an end very soon. But my father, he did sports marketing after he retired. And so when me and Shannon were younger, he worked for Champion, and he did all the cool stuff that you want to see in a kid. So like we went to the All-Star games. He had access to all the championships, the MLB, Super Bowl, the Olympics in Atlanta. We had tickets to opening ceremony. So like sports marketing was like an avenue. I realized like you're in sports, but you're not playing. And so I kind of knew I wanted to do that. I just didn't know like how to when I first got into college though.
All right.
So how did you figure that out? Because there's a lot of us out there, former athletes, that want to work in sports, and we have the same problem. We don't know how to get into it. So what was that like for you? How did you figure that out, and what was the path for you?
So it was, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say humbling, but during my last few years of high school, I was not playing AAU basketball, but I was still lifting weights. I was playing high school basketball, but Shannon's team was traveling. They were prominent at the time, and so I would help out with them because they were somewhat of an upstart. And so the logistics and the ops, day-to-day stuff, I would help out. And so I kind of learned the outside of AAU basketball without playing it. And then as Shannon's team got higher up to the age groups, I saw this marketing side from the Nike perspective. The first year of the EYBL. Yeah. And so seeing how some of the people that he interacted with and how that stuff went about was kind of eye-opening, because like I got it, I understood it, I lived it, I've been doing it the last few years. And so finding an internship that led me back to grassroots basketball was a blessing, but I got super lucky. Great time, and I just got lucky, I guess.
Right.
but I mean, I can see how like that set you up, like you said, seeing the inside and outside of that, working with Shannon's team, and then ultimately working in grassroots basketball. But one of our goals with this podcast, as our listeners know by now, is to introduce careers within sports, to them. So, a lot of people listening, they of course might have played AAU basketball, but they might not know what their job will entail if they did work in, grassroots basketball. So could you explain a little bit of, about like what your job description is or what your daily tasks are, things like that?
Yeah, no, definitely. Grassroots basketball, it's like the term grassroots, from the ground up. So you pretty much do any and everything from where I started. So it goes from uniform design. I'm not a designer, but like coloring up the set mock-ups based off the company's design, or handling outfitting of teams, figuring out the gear packages for the set season, placing forecast orders with our demand team, trying to figure out what sneakers we're going to have for the year, what cool colorways we can do for AAU, what sneakers we're going to use for seeding outside of what the team's going to order, putting on camps and events, whether the Elite 24s of the days, or we had our All-American camps, and now we're putting on our SC30 Select camp year in, year out. So things of that nature. And then day to day is placing orders, doing a lot of scheduling, a lot of planning, trying to prepare for the spring, prepare for the summer, and then just building relationships, keeping in contact with players and coaches, and making sure they all feel the love.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
And then with all that going on, man, what was your favorite project, man, that you were able to partake in?
Oh man, I don't know. Like the Elite 24, that was probably probably the best feeling back in the day, just because it'd be the end all be all of the summer, and right after that we'd be done for a few months or I should say a few weeks, and so it's kind of a sigh of relief. But it's the one event in which we had players that were not just Under Armour players, Nike players, Adidas players, and we were able to bring them to Brooklyn, New York, and show them around the city, and then just put on an atmosphere that was not, it was an Under Armour put on event, but like it was not about the sneaker brands. It was just basketball. And it was a very cool event. My dad used to play in Rucker Park. My little brother played in Elite 24 growing up. So being able to put on that event and watch it come to its fruition and see the planning and the end goal, I think that was probably the best, my favorite moment.
Yeah, sure. I used to love watching that too. Elite 24, man.
I was gonna say the same thing. I just even some of the things you talked about, like the photo shoots of the kids going around the city and things like that. All of that was just so dope to me. When I was growing up and watching that. But you've definitely been a part of some really cool events and projects. But what was your like I'm here moment when you were like, man, I'm really getting paid to do all these cool things? What was that like for you?
Might have been probably early on. Like it wasn't like I did anything great, but just like a sense of like I said, I kind of lived the sport or lived the job. So I wouldn't say it was necessarily hard for me, but like I'm like, am I doing this right? Like I'm just like kind of doing what I used to be doing.
Yeah.
Then I think it was probably 2012 or 2013, or I guess my first year. So 2013. At MBPA camp, I was working with some of the players, and one of the players went to his coach and he said, "Oh, we had a great relationship with the Under Armour guy. I would love for us to wear Under Armour." He actually stopped playing for that summer because he was training, and so he got back on the circuit because he was like, "I'm feeling the love from Under Armour." And so my manager at the time brought me into the room, and he was like, "Yo, I don't know what you did, but good job." And
that's dope, man.
This kid wants to wear the brand for this for next year, and ended up being Carl Towns. And
oh man,
Cat was Cat, and not only that, but going into his freshman year at Kentucky, Cat actually wore Under Armour sneakers at the Kentucky Combine because he wore size 20 sneakers, and so none of the Nikes were built to fit him. So the love he had for the brand was something I was like, wow, like I'm actually doing something that's like making waves, because it was a big headline. It's like Carl Towns wears Under Armour at Kentucky headline.
Right.
It was a big one in the office, so I was happy.
For sure. That's dope. I know that. Myself and Jaren, even as interns, we haven't fully made it into the industry yet, but we are always looking for little moments like that. We really feel like we're making an impact. So I know that was dope to feel that off back.
No, you couldn't tell me nothing at that
point. And then on the flip side, Shannon, what was your welcome to college moment? Whether that was a matchup or a specific game, I'm not sure. What was that like for you when you were like, man, like this is I'm here now. Like this is different.
Like I said earlier, my favorite stadium to play in was Kansas. So my freshman year, we played at Kansas. This is when we were ranked number, I say 2 in the country behind Kentucky. I think Kansas was top 5. Back when they had Thomas Robinson, like Jeff Whitty, Tyshawn Taylor, and them. But I remember being on the floor. I missed the box out. Like I was in the corner. I had to tag my man, but I was supposed to tag the Thomas Robinson. Missed the box out. He got a tip dunk, and then Kansas started hitting that whole little rock chalk Jayhawk chant, and then the floor. I swear the floor started shaking. But at that point, I was like, I mean, all right, I see what this is about now. I see why this is a top school. I see where I'm at now. I see what I have to do just to be able to fit in at this point. So I mean, that was definitely a life-changing moment right there.
Yeah, sure. That's dope, man. I was gonna say for me, mine was probably when I was at Western Michigan. We played UCLA. This one they had Lonzo, TJ. They had everybody. They was I think number 1 in the country, but they was blowing us out. And at the end, the whole crowd got to chanting like UCLA. I'm like, man, this is crazy.
Yeah,
like, seeing the whole crowd.
Those crowd chants are different. And then once the arena starts really like moving with it, it's a different feeling. You like
crazy.
It definitely grabs your attention when you're on the court or wherever you are for real.
Yeah,
sure. But that's the type of stuff that we dream about growing up and playing in those types of environments. But what was on the other hand, what was your favorite college moment? It might have been playing in the tournament, but what was that?
Oh, for sure, the Final Four. I mean, just that whole weekend, just the whole build up to it. We went to find out we won the East Regional, beat Syracuse Elite 8. So go back to school the next day. We get off the plane. So probably about 4,000 or 5,000 people at the airport waiting for us. Driving to the arena, people still waiting for us, cheering for us. Going to class the next day. Teachers know what's up. They say, you know what, don't worry about schoolwork. Just take care of it after. Just go get ready for the tournament.
Right.
So we leave out, head out Wednesday. Do the whole everything up there. Go to New Orleans. Obviously, New Orleans is a great place to be at. Go to the Final Four party, go to the team party, all this stuff, and just get ready for the game. And just going to the Superdome, having that live practice where you see all 4 teams. So you see about 20,000 Ohio State fans, 20,000 Kansas fans, 20,000 Kentucky fans, and 20,000 Louisville fans. So just seeing everybody just like talking trash to each other out there. It was just a great moment for real. It was just a lot of fun.
Man,
I've always wondered if teams are actually going back to class before leaving for us.
So I mean, we have our checkers. We had to be at class. So, I mean, once you get to that point of the March Madness and Final Four, I mean, teachers know what's going on. They're not like oblivious what's happening. They're not gonna be like, yeah, you got a test due at midnight tonight, so be ready for that. They're like, we understand what's going on in your world right now. We understand that you're about to be gone for probably a week and a half. So I mean, just go do what you got to do. Don't fall behind. Just come back a winner. So that's the biggest thing.
Right, and keep that brackets intact.
Yeah, exactly. That's surprisingly that was such a big thing. I mean, I had somebody tell me, I think it was my junior year. They're like, I got you winning 2 games, so don't mess this up. So I'm like, first of all, you go to Ohio State with me. You're telling me if I lose, I win 2 games, I'm messing you up now as a fan. But like, people take that bracket serious, I guess. I mean,
yeah, they do.
Yeah,
definitely. That's funny. But moving on to the pros, you've had a lot of ups and downs. Going pro, playing in the D League, playing overseas, making a trip from the States to overseas, back and forth a few times. But as we all know, you can't control what happens to you. But what advice do you have for other athletes that are that can relate to that and are trying to focus on like just the opportunity at hand?
Mm-hmm. I mean, the biggest thing I had to tell myself was, when you get to your highest moments, don't try to think that it's always going to be this way. I mean, you can go to a point where you're flying on a private plane where you can get from LA to New York without having to see a single person of your teammates, to being on a flight that's completely full on American Airlines where you're just trying to find the best seat available. So, I mean, you got to realize there's going to be highs and lows. Don't let your highs be too high. Just try to stay as humble as you can. Appreciate where you're at, because at the end of the day, where you're at, somebody else wants to get to that spot, whether it's in the NBA, whether it's in the D League, whether it's overseas. So, I mean, you got to take advantage of the situation you're in, but don't ever think that where you're at is not good enough, but always realize you can always get better, of course. But I mean, that's the biggest thing.
Gotcha. I was gonna say, I think for me too, I tell Bryce this all the time. Like, I'm at a point in my life where I'm even keeled too. Like no highs, no lows. Like accepting, the good and the bad, but just keep going. Like the biggest thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But what was that feeling like, man? Seeing Shaun, seeing your brother accomplish so much, like in the sports industry, man. Like how was that feeling?
Oh man, I was a proud brother. Like when I was at UNC, it's funny because those 4 years he was at Ohio State. I was an Ohio State fan, and like I ride with my family, and so at the time I thought UNC made a mistake. They should have picked up my brother. Like American. Yeah. And so I did actually. I want to say UNC did not get further than Ohio State any of the years that that he played. So like I did have some pride in that. And then as well, my first year working was right after his Final Four season, and so like everyone knew Ohio State basketball. He was top 5, and then I think you guys were top 10 the next year, and so like he was always doing well. And then back in college, my brother was an All-American. Like I was just proud of him, man. And yeah, he had a lot of goals and a lot of expectations on him. So the fact that he was able to accomplish it was super awesome to see.
Yeah. Sure. And then on the flip side, Shannon, what was it like seeing your brother, do all these wonderful things with Under Armour, man, and, work in sports from a business side of things? What was that like?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, I think he's inspired me as well as a lot of my teammates, just seeing like the whole different side of basketball. Because obviously when we get to a gym, we get to arena, they tell us to go put our shoes on and get on the court. So we don't get to see the other part of what's going on in the world and basically the ins out of it. I mean, like Shaun said, he was over at Under Armour while I was still in school. So he was explaining to me, a couple of my teammates, what's going on over there, and able to like give us some like Under Armour gear and just like show us like the whole backside of that. So we were all interested in it. I mean, I know I was proud of it. And it's kind of like a thing that I'm interested in as well. So like once I get done playing ball, it's definitely a thing I'll be interested in looking into and just trying to follow those footsteps and kind of like get into that marketing world as well. So I mean, it's a thing that I've always admired about him because he was able to just kind of show me a path in a different way of life. Not the way that we just grew up knowing that basketball is going to be a great thing. It's going to take us so many places, but now we can see how it can take us different places, not only just dribbling the ball,
Exactly.
Exactly. Love that. Final question: is there a piece of advice or a quote that you guys' dad instilled in you and you all, and you want to share with the listeners?
Mm-hmm. I mean,
one quote. You go first. Yeah.
I can't think of really quotes that he instilled in us. I mean, it was more of a way of life, where we should be as young men, as basketball players, for me at least. I always knew that he just wanted us, no matter what we did, he always told me on the basketball court at least that if you play hard and you play smart and play aggressive, whatever results happen after that, that's going to be the way it is. You can't control anything else after that. So I kind of took that approach every time I played a game. I don't know if I played my hardest, I play smart and I play aggressive. If we lose the game, we lost the game. I can't go back home and be like, why did I lose the game? It's just after that, I did what I could do. I could control what I could control and just left it at that.
Sure, definitely.
Yeah, kind of similar to what he was saying. I think my dad said this in one of his like Hall of Fame speeches, but they were asking him like, what was the one thing he was most happy about? And he was like, wasn't necessarily just like being in the Hall of Fame. It's just the recognition of his peers and the respect of his peers. And like he grew up with like the Connie Hawkins and like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was in his wedding. Like, so like he had some great peers. And so like the fact that all of his peers always had him in a high standing. Like I would go to camps, go to All-Star games, whatever. And like, I would see like the Michael Jordans of the world would look up to my dad. And like, when I was at college, like James Worthy came and found me. He was like, oh, you're Charlie Scott's son. Like, I just want to say like, nice to meet you. I came to UNC because of your dad. So like getting respect of those around you is something that I think we kind of hold our head on. And so just doing everything the right way. And then because your name is your name. And so you only can go as far as to the name that you create for yourself. So just be right by people and hopefully they'll pay it forward.
Love it.
Yeah, that's a great point. But yeah, Bryce, you see they saying, Mike the GOAT, man. So
hey man, y'all got time to debate that, like throw it out there.
Man, I mean, anybody that knows me, they know how much I love LeBron. That's why he has to throw that in. But yeah, I mean,
you say you're from Chicago too?
Exactly. I catch a lot of smoke for being from Chicago and loving LeBron, but I mean, I didn't. To be fair, I didn't grow up watching Mike play. He won his last championship the year I was born. So,
yeah, man. No excuse, still being in Chicago, you gotta read the room out there. I mean, you probably couldn't bring that up. Honestly, I know a lot of guys from Chicago, and they'll never, not a single one that will say LeBron is the GOAT. But
man,
yeah, I mean, speaking of guys from Chicago, I know that you brought up Sam earlier. He played for our AAU organization when we were younger, so that was one of the guys I looked up to growing up.
Yeah, yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Which team was that?
Mac Irvin Fire.
Okay, Mac Irvin. All right, yeah. So we played them a few times in EYBL. First time we played them, they smacked us bad because we got kind of caught up. They brought out a whole dunk contest when we played them the first time. I mean, I don't know how many guys they had flying out there, but it was like 6 or 7 of them. So we were at half court just watching them warm up during our warm up, and then we got yelled at, obviously. But no, they were definitely known for that pregame dunk contest they used to have. So I mean, I remember them.
What AAU team you was playing with, Shannon, in the URBL?
This team is called Southern Kings. They don't have a team anymore. I heard I heard eventually they kind of, I guess Southern Stampede might have taken over that route for them. But I mean, it was Southern Kings, so I think it lasted about 3-4 years in EYBL.
Okay.
Hey, nothing like Peach Jam, man. Sorry, Sean, but
oh yeah. No, I mean, like you learn from experience, and so growing up, going to Peach Jam, like when I got to Under Armour, I'm like, look, this is a standard that's been set. Like for the finals, like we got to do X, Y, and Z. Like they had at Peach Jam, like if you want the best players, like we got to do it. So now I everything's a learning experience, and so I definitely valued his years on EYBL and that Peach Jam, like the post game meals, like what more can you ask for as a player?
Crazy.
You get a player free food, and at that age, it's over. Every year.
That's a fact.
Nah, UA doing their thing, man, with the league and everything. You guys have a lot of talent, of course. Under Armour has a lot of talent every year. So
we had our share of number 1 picks with Kat, DeAndre, and Markel. So watch out. Anthony Edwards up next.
Okay. Okay. Got you. But man, thank you guys for coming on. Really appreciate this.
Oh no,
appreciate y'all having us for real.